Brian, time for today's chart of the day.
It is time for chart of the day, and today we are talking all about oil. Bank of America Global Research out with a note yesterday illustrating the many push and pull factors on the price of Brent crude over the last 18 months. And this really shows that absent the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which is illustrated here in green, the contribution at least, it's really the reopening associated with the vaccination campaigns and the COVID story in light blue that otherwise would have led to price declines. So again, this isn't necessarily to say that, well, it's all Russia-Ukraine, that's the reason for broad-based inflation. But when you take a look at this chart, it does show that, well, if that wasn't around, prices will be a lot lower than they are right now.
Yeah, that's incredible to see that spike from March, end of February.
Yeah.
To now. I mean, when we're looking at Russia, Ukraine, I mean, the China story, of course, is under the blue, right? That's where we're talking about in terms of the concerns around demand, because that seems to be increasingly a big driver, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do wonder, because China is not any of the factors that are kind of specifically delineated here, but you could loop that into COVID, right? If it is the COVID-related shutdowns that led China to perhaps consume less oil, maybe the contribution would be even further downward if China starts to reopen up soon. But again, this is also, by the way, not necessarily the percentage of increase to the Brent crude oil itself. It's just the share of the contribution of these events into the price of crude oil, which I think is up 45% year to date. What's really interesting about all of this is that, you kind of have to think about all the factors that go into how all prices are kind of settled. And this comes from an event study, which is an economic kind of process by which is a little bit inexact. But all in all, you get the general idea that, yep, Russia-Ukraine is obviously a massive contributor on that front.